I'm Leonard Elijah Shemtob.
And I'm Amir Araghi.
And we are the Conscious Cup
Podcast.
Podcast. Just as many of us drink coffee to get through our day, the Conscious Cup Podcast is about filling your soul with a guiding light of energy to navigate you through the week. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. We'll also go through the grind, where we talk about upcoming events in the spiritual community. Then to filling your cup, where we get to the main subject of the week, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And then to what's brewing, a peek into the current state of global consciousness. And finally, to spill the beans, where we discuss our weekly spiritual task that involves both you and us and our personal reflection on them. So with that, we ask you, what are you
filling your spiritual cup with?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, share. Bam, boom. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Smash it. Like a smashed avocado toast.
Not too hard, though. We want you to smash it again next week.
Don't break your computer your phone. And you know what? We have to celebrate something today. Today marks the 10th podcast that we've done together.
Woo!
Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, Leonard.
You've been great and wonderful.
It's been fantastic.
And to celebrate, I have solved our tea problems and got the big, look at the color, it matches the logo.
Yes.
The big Conscious Cup tea pot.
Yes.
And it's so that way the whole time we're here, we can have hot tea.
Yes.
Because we're Persian and we like tea, you know?
Yeah.
Look at that, huh?
Funny enough, this is the only place I drink tea, by the way.
Look at that, huh?
Nice and steamy. Oh, steamy. What was that from?
Would you like some?
I am good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so that's the
that's an improvement.
It's a big. We have a big budget, and this was we used all the budget on this.
Yeah.
So sorry if the quality of the set isn't great. It's because we used all the budget on the on the tea kettle.
I'm gonna channel Leonard and say GoFundMe will be up this week for the new pot.
So let's get into it. Starting off with the grind.
Yeah.
A few events that are happening. I can start with one. For those of you who like art, there is a special spiritual art workshop happening, and it's called Concerning the Spiritual in Art Workshop. And it says, what would happen if you combined all the best parts of books, retreats, and made it into a 2-day workshop? Now, I don't know what they're referring to because we're not in their book club or their retreat. But on July 20th and July 21st, there's going to be a workshop from 7 to 9 p.m. and 6:30 to 9:30. And it's a online discussion of Kandinsky's Concerning the Spiritual in Art. And after the lecture and discussion on concepts of abstract and expression and the language of color, they'll brainstorm ways to apply Kandinsky's wisdom to our own practices and then go into the studio the next evening to see how it plays out. So the first session is going to be more of a theory, and the second session is going to be application. So for those who like art, who like Kandinsky, who like Concerning the Spiritual in Art, this could be a fun exercise.
Yeah, art's always a good avenue.
And it's a 2-day hybrid workshop. It's $150. You can. It's on July 20th in Santa Ana at the Santora Arts Building, and you can find more information out off of Eventbrite, searching Concerning the Spiritual in Art Workshop. Concerning the Spiritual in Art Workshop on July 20th. Tickets are again $150. That's one event, and I'll pop into my next one before Amir takes over on the events. A candlelight meditation evening.
I like that.
Yes.
Candlelight is beautiful.
It is.
It really is.
Calling in the Light, a candlelight meditation evening, Friday, July 14th, 6:45 to 8 p.m. at the Peace Awareness Labyrinth on Adams Boulevard in Los Angeles. Love is the matrix, and it makes it all possible. The energy of spirit is the essence, and this is the age of living love. This loving love manifests each time you enter into the love of the spiritual heart. John Roger. Come enjoy a guided meditation, candlelit, as we attune to the spiritual inherent within each of us. We invite you to relax and unwind from the week as we come into the loving presence of one another, connecting to our breath, our spirit, and coming into the presence that God is within each one of us. This is an easeful meditation on sound guiding you gently back to yourself. I mean, it sounds great.
That's great.
Simple, easy, loving, hour and 15 minutes, $8. You're not going to break the bank. Again, Friday, July 14th, 6:45 p.m. in Los Angeles on Adams Boulevard at the Peace Awareness Labyrinth. To find out more information, you can go to Eventbrite and search Calling in the Light on July 14th, or you can look at the Peace Awareness Labyrinth and Gardens.
Nice.
And, join up, meditate.
Nice. I
Why
like
not?
that. That's very cool. It's also nice to see that there's these other physical locations and places. The Peace Labyrinth, is that what it was called?
Peace Labyrinth. Peace Awareness Labyrinth.
Peace Awareness Labyrinth. It's really nice to see all these places pop up more and more, and that consciousness spreading. That's awesome.
Yeah, this
$8,
place actually
guided
has
meditation, candlelight, Friday night. Even if you're going out afterwards or you want it to be your nightcap, it's perfect. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to do.
It's a beautiful thing. And the Peace Awareness Labyrinth and Gardens actually have been there for a long time, from what I know, from what I remember, if it's the place I'm thinking of. And they have tons of stuff there. They have sound baths. They have Sufi-inspired dancing events. Plenty of things that you can get involved in. There's places. You wouldn't believe it, but there are places where people get together and do this cool
there's
stuff.
a lot of them.
That's what this is about. We're trying to bring awareness to that.
Absolutely. Awesome. That sounds great. I have one. It is from Shambhala Wellness that is run by my friend Valerie. She does a really, really great job, and she actually they started these events called the Sisterhood of the Rose. So it's a very interesting thing, and what they're doing is once a month they're moving from the root chakra all the way up, and they work on different chakras once a month, and they get together, and this is the sacral chakra that is going to be happening on Sunday, July 2nd. This is going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. If you can't make this one, the next one is in August. That's going to be on the still in July. I spoke too soon. That is Sunday, July 30th. That'll be the solar plexus. It's $33 per person.
Beautiful.
Symbolically put,
Right.
I'm sure. And I'll just read for you the quick little description. The sacral chakra relates to the womb, called Swadhisthana, meaning the home of one's sweetness. Our womb is a divine sacred consciousness that holds the keys and codes to deep and intuitive wisdom. For us to fully tap into our power and divinity that lives within, we must release and heal the ancestral lineage that is embedded within us. We will free our bodies from the ancient paradigms that have been with us for generations so that we can make room for new energies to flow through us and birth new creations for generations to come. So, cool event. Shambhala-wellness.com, Shamballa-wellness.com. It should be a really great event. Again, happening once a month on a Sunday. This one is July 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Feel free to visit the website. She does a great job. She's a sound healer and does many, many things, but she's like awesome with what she does. I did a partial sound bath with her, and she held the space really, really beautifully. So if you're interested, check it out. Sounds really, really cool. I'm gonna try to go to one of the later ones, particularly starting from Third Eye. I think that would be really, really awesome to check it out. And the last one is actually Quantum. So
And where is it again?
The
Did you say that?
location,
Yeah,
I
location.
don't have the exact location, but I think if you sign up, it'll have.
I mean, are we talking
everything
LA? Are we talking
LA,
Orange
yes,
County?
LA.
okay.
Yeah, LA. I believe West Hollywood, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, those are that was the grind. Grinding it out. And now we're heading to the main topic, which is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So,
Can you say that 10 times in a row? No,
the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I can. So, this book is incredible. It's incredible. Now, I've been talking to Amir for 2 years about doing a book club on this book or an event on this book. And I didn't get my way so far. So now I'm bringing it to the podcast. No, we never made a decision on it, but it is something I want to do. So it is
There's
something
many
I want.
books in
Yeah.
line over there. Yeah.
I want to do something on this book because it's so powerful. And the one that I'm working with, there's multiple versions of translations. The one that I'm working with today and the one that I have worked with and read a few times is the one that's commentary and translated by Swami Satchitananda. Swami Satchitananda is incredible. His Instagram page is really great. He's passed, but the people who run it are really good, and they post really nice stuff every day.
Nice.
Like, I really look forward to the posts by Swami Satchitananda. Further, he created a yoga center in the Midwest. He traveled around the world, and he opened Woodstock.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was one of the openers of Woodstock,
Wow.
Swami Satchitananda. He's a
Wow.
really incredible guy. He was a really incredible guy. I mean, if you look him up, you probably know him. You probably would know him. His face, everything. I mean, he's pure love. He's really great. So, getting to the book, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the true meaning of yoga is union of body, mind, soul, and spirit. So, according to yoga, we suffer because the illusion of separateness between our individual consciousness and from the universal consciousness or Brahman. So, the Yoga Sutras is a practical guide that it's for you to like bring your spiritual journey of remembering that union, because yoga actually just means union.
Yeah.
So the Yoga Sutras were composed by a man named Patanjali. That's why it's the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. There's not much information about him. He was Indian. He lived somewhere between the 2nd and 4th century. The book has 196 sutras, all and divided into 4 chapters. And in my opinion, it offers a roadmap to liberation or enlightenment. It actually goes through the steps you can take, mentally, emotionally, physically. It goes through steps. It's like literally like a roadmap to enlightenment. It's
Nice.
really incredible.
Yeah. Yoga definitely has that path kind of thing within it, within all aspects of it, from what I know.
Right. Now, there's 8 limbs of yoga, right? There's yama, which is correct behavior towards others, nonviolence, truthfulness, not stealing, not wasting energy, abstaining from greed. There's niyama, the principles by which you should live your own life, purity, contentment, spiritual observances, study, and devotion. There's asana, the seat of consciousness, the yogi's seat and postures to prepare the body. This is what many people do when they go do yoga at the studio. They say, oh, I do yoga. Really, it's not yoga. There's 8 limbs of yoga. But people think that they're, the West has made yoga about physical.
Right.
That's just
Just
one
an
limb
exercise. Right.
of the 8 limbs of yoga.
Right.
Pranayama, which you've done and I've done as well, and we've done together, which is the expanding the life force through the breathing exercises.
Ah, okay.
You looked at me like I was crazy. Did you guys see that?
Definitely did not.
I did not do pranayama with you, you crazy man.
No, I just didn't know what the name was. You're talking about in the sound bath, right?
Yes. Pratyahara, tuning the senses inward to explore the inner universe.
Okay.
Dhyana, a continuous flow, meditation perfected. Samadhi, which many of you know what samadhi is, lost or found in the divine unity. And the first 4 yamas prepare the body for the next 3, which is the ones that I gave, which take you to the doorway of the 8th. So that's kind of how they break down in sections. So now, obviously, I can't cover the entire sutra, all the sutras, 196 sutras in one podcast with you. What
does sutra mean?
Sutra means like, it actually means a suture.
Oh.
It's
probably the root word for
a
suture.
It is, but it basically is bridging. It bridges the consciousness from like the physical to the non-physical.
Got it.
So it's like sutures those together. Great question. So I obviously can't cover the whole thing in one session, but I wanted to introduce this to those who haven't heard of it or heard of it and haven't read it or even read it before.
Yeah.
To go over some powerful quotes from this book to hopefully intrigue you guys enough to have you go and get the book and start the process. And then when we do something for it, you'll be very excited. And if not,
Cool.
At least you'll have some good information today to listen to.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's start with a few quotes.
Let's do
And
it.
he hasn't heard these, so I'm going to say them and we're going to hear his reflection on
Yeah.
them. Okay?
I've not read this book. We very briefly, by the way, have talked about this, so it's very, very new to me.
Of course.
You've mentioned it twice or so, but yeah, I'm All ears.
I agree. And since I have hot tea flowing,
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to pour myself some more tea.
Hot tea, and we have cool air flowing tonight too.
I'm feeling very good.
We've made significant strides.
Look, you know,
Double
sometimes
digits. double digits.
it's
will
a
do that for you.
celebration.
Yeah.
It's a celebration. Would you like some tea?
I'm good. I'm
You know,
not.
this guy has me drinking all the tea, and we're
yeah.
gonna have to take a bathroom
Yeah.
break. All right. First quote: "As the mind, so the person. Bondage or liberation are in your own mind. If you feel bound, you are bound. If you feel liberated, you are liberated. Things outside neither bind nor liberate you. Only your attitude toward them does that."
Beautiful. Simple and straightforward. Yeah. Very accurate. Very, very accurate. What's in your mind will reflect back out.
Right, right. So some of us who are going through some challenging times right now, it could be financially, it could be maritally, it could be health-wise, it could be anything. You know, there's tons of challenges we all face. I mean, all of us have catalysts. That's part of the game here. Are we bound to those catalysts? Do we feel like we're, in bondage to them? Or do we say, this is just part of the process, and, to get to the other side of the road, I have to go over a speed bump, or I have to jump over a pothole.
Right.
We not stop at the pothole, some of us
Right.
do, and live in the pothole. And I'm in this pothole, it's so bad, why am I in this pothole? You just say, look, the pothole is part of it. It's part of the journey, It's all about how you look at things as perspective, right?
The more you want to cling to your story, the more the story will become everything rather than you. It'll literally just overtake everything, right? Everything else is a story. Conscious is not a story. Consciousness just is. So we got to keep getting to that is state.
And that is such a good lead-in. Like, we didn't plan this for the next quote. But without any identifications, who are you? Have you ever thought about it? When you really understand that, you will see we are all the same. If you detach yourself completely from all things you have identified yourself with, you realize yourself as the pure I. In that pure I, there is no difference between you and me.
Beautiful. It's just because it's an illusion. It's just an illusion. And here's the balancing part with all of this, because a lot of the subjects we're going to be speaking about have very similar themes. It's there's no hate of the illusion. It's just being aware that this is an illusion, and then to make the illusion as fun and grandiose and adventurous and joyous as possible. But it's to just not be attached to the illusion. There's nothing there, right? Like you don't go to a movie and then you're like, why isn't that character in real life? Like, why doesn't this exist?
Only when you watched 24, the first season, was it like that. That movie,
talking to the wrong person,
dude,
man. I haven't
like
seen it.
20 years ago. 20 years
remember.
ago. And
I remember.
and somehow I got, suckered into watching this show, and it was so intense. It was so intense. I've never watched anything like that in my life. It was so intense. Like, I'd go to sleep at night and pray for plot resolution.
Yeah.
I like pray for plot resolution. Like, please, can they just get the family back together? This is crazy. And I remember after like the third, fourth episode, I'm like, am I sick? Why am I watching this show?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, look, we have these identifications, right? It's deeper than this. Is a simple quote, but we can go deep.
Yeah.
I'm Leonard. There's an identification.
100%.
I like good food. That's an
Right.
identification. I'm vegan. That's an identification.
Not only is it an identification, it's a judgment call too, right? I don't like bad food. Well, wait a minute. What does that mean? Yeah.
And if we take those identifications, what are we really? That's the true self, right? And that's kind of like children when they're barely getting going. They're that, before they say, I want this, I want that. They're just in awe of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really a beautiful thing. The pure I, within the pure I, there's no difference between you and me. Just because we have preferences, we're not different truly in our essence. Just because I have preference, I like blue cars and you like green cars, it doesn't mean that we're, not from the same source.
Right.
All right, next.
The interesting part is as you begin to also move beyond, that's one of the last stages, moving beyond preference, which is really tough. There's a lot of spiritual heads that will go, no, that's not, but it is. Preference is almost the last shoe to drop, and then you're kind of just in that state of
allowance,
just pure isness. There is no preference, because what
is it to be,
what's
what is
separate?
what's to be preferential of?
Yeah, what's separate?
Exactly. Yeah, it's
You're gonna say like this cell in my body is better than this cell over here. It's ludicrous to say that, right? I
right,
mean, we don't do that because it's our own body because we see it as one. But with everything else, then the preference will fade away too. But that's like the last step.
right.
Yeah.
Behind the different forms of energy is one unchanging consciousness or spirit or self. That is why, if we would calm our minds and get to the basis of all these modifications, we would find the unity among everything. This is the real yogic life.
Yoga. Real yoga. True yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True
Unity.
union.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Whatever the thought is, if there is no selfishness behind it, it can never really bring pain to the person concerned. The result is neither pain nor pleasure but peace. Seeing the truth, we should analyze our motives and try to cultivate selfless thoughts. This is our first and foremost duty. I'll read that again. It's kind of wordy. Whatever the thought is, if there is no selfishness behind it, it can never really bring pain to the person concerned. The result is neither pain nor pleasure but peace. Seeing this truth, we should analyze all of our motives and try to cultivate selfless thoughts. This is our first and foremost duty.
Yeah. The selfishness, just to be clear here for everyone who's like listening, that selfishness is the little me. It's the little fragmented me, not in terms of everything is you. Because our language is a hard thing, right? Because it can be interpreted in a little way. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. When you no longer are separate from everything else, there is no self and there is no other. It just becomes one. So this selfishness means something that is exclusively beneficial to me.
And not to all.
Right. Because that also, I think, leads back to the identity part.
Right.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Peace. Peace. Peace is a great indicator. If you are in peace,
You're right. You're in the right vibration.
yeah. That's like, you're going to start seeing synchronicities. Everything really just becomes joyous and beautiful. And yeah.
All right. Here we go. If you are patient, your mind is more settled, and what you do will be more perfect. If you are unsettled and anxious to get the result, you're already disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing done with that disturbed mind will have quality. So it is not only how long you practice, but with what patience, what earnestness, and what quality also.
Beautiful. Can you read that one more time, please?
If you are patient,
If you don't mind, let's pause after each sentence because there's a lot there. But read it one time through and then let's pause because there's a lot there. It's really nice.
okay. If you are patient, your mind is more settled, and what you do will be more perfect. If you are unsettled and anxious to get the result, you are already disturbed. Nothing done with that disturbed mind will have quality. So, it is not only how long you practice, but with what patience, what earnestness, and what quality also.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, like, think about when you rush stuff, or when you're anxious for the end result. If any of us have played sports, I'm sure some of you have at some point in your life, or have done art or make music or anything of this nature. I feel like when you do your best work and you're in flow state, there is no judgment of or expectation of the work that's being done.
Right.
You're in the work.
Right.
You're in it. There's
no
the
separation.
work. There's no separation.
Yeah.
Yes. When you are nervous about shooting the shot,
Right.
it's different than when you shoot the shot.
Right.
And you're there.
Right.
When I played basketball, it was like when I had mind-body connection, I wouldn't be thinking about it. I'd be totally in the moment. But when you're nervous, what are people thinking? If I miss this shot, now they're going to look at me like I'm not a good player. It's my first shot. I'm on the court. It's my first game. These guys have been playing together. All that. It's like you've already lost.
Right.
You've already screwed things up.
Right. It really is. It really is, right? I mean, that, and it's funny because as you are, let me take this back and then kind of fast forward it to where we are. But when you, see it. Even if you're not familiar with this, by the way, if you watch athletes, like a great example, right? If you've ever seen the World Cup and you see them taking penalty shots, some people you will look at, even if you're not familiar with this concept, you'll just look at them and you're like, this person's missing the shot. You can see it. There's too much thought. And then other ones you look and it's like, the guy looks like he's, about to read the Sunday newspaper.
So
It's
calm,
like, no,
so
nothing.
peaceful.
He's just in the flow. There's patience and fluidity within that. So there's definitely that. As you get more and more aware of it, you will see this reflected within your own vibration, which is the whole point of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is a longer one. Non-attachment should not be misunderstood to be indifference. The term vairagya, which means renunciation or non-attachment, literally means colorlessness. Colorless. It is without color. Every desire brings its own color to the mind. The moment you color the mind, a ripple is formed. Just as when a stone is thrown into a calm lake, it creates waves in the water. When the mind is tossed by these desires, one after another, they won't be at peace or rest in the mind. And with a restless mind, you can't have steady practice. When you want to do something constantly, your mind should not be distracted by other desires. That's why this sort of dispassion or non-attachment must always go with practice. Any practice with non-attachment can never be fulfilled.
Beautiful.
And this is going back to the previous quote, right? Because you're doing the practice, but when you have attachment, right? What is that attachment? How it should be, how it should look, how it should feel, what kind of result should I get out of it? Back again now, I'm not in the moment of shooting that shot.
Right.
I'm in the moment of concern with how how the shot will go.
Right.
And you're taken out again. It says, that's why you can't collect and compose the mind unless it's free from distracting desires. Meditation is possible only when the mind is free from attachment. In fact, you need not even practice meditation if your mind is completely free from all selfish desire. You will see that you are always at ease. You will never become restless and never disappointed. So we need the practice and the non-attachment, and of these two, the non-attachment is the more important. Immediately somebody will ask, if you are unattached, won't you lose all incentive and become dull? Right? Like, oh, you're indifferent.
People always say that.
Yeah. Oh, you're not attached, then how can you become successful?
Right.
I've had conversations with people and I'm like, you're making this rule for yourself, this goal for yourself that's so extreme. Why do that? And it's like, well, that forces me to work harder. It forces me to get up out of bed and do things I don't want to do. And he says, no. When we say unattached, it means without personal desires.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately somebody will ask, if you're unattached, won't you lose all incentive and become dull? No. When we say unattached, it means without personal desires. The Vedantic scriptures say, even the desire for liberation is bondage.
100%. That's probably one of the biggest ones. That's one of the biggest ones. Prism of Lyra says that too. It says the irony is the more you may want to ascend, the more you actually have to stay. Because there's nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go.
There was that guy who goes to the guru and says, if I meditate twice a day and do my spiritual practices twice a day, how many years will it take me to become enlightened?
Yeah.
And he says, if you do it twice a day, it will take you 20 years. He goes, okay, if I do 5 times a day, my spiritual practices and meditation, how many years will it take me to be enlightened? And he says, it will take twice as long.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How come?
Yeah. That's right. Because there's an attachment to it. There's a desire to it. But I want to go back to that you said that it causes, it's almost like you're throwing stones into the ripple of and those create ripples in the mind. That is really important. So one of the reasons that meditation or nature really works is because your state becomes rebalanced. Your state becomes calm, collected, and with ease. And when you do that, to me, that is the definition of the divine feminine, is that you are in a state that you are able to receive. Well, if the seas are choppy, right? If everything is chaotic in your mind, anything that comes there is going to get destroyed.
Exactly.
It's going to get crushed. Just like imagine a really stormy sea, and now you're trying to put a new idea. Like imagine this gentle little boat is now being put into that. What's going to happen? It's going to get crushed.
It's going to get rocky. It's exactly.
You don't even have space for it. It's just it's all disaster. And that, by the way, those ripples are all the story again. Nothing else.
Okay, a couple more and we'll call it. Attachment to pleasure, or raga, is another pain-bearing obstacle. We attach ourselves to pleasure because we expect happiness from it, forgetting that happiness is always in us as the true self. When we expect joy from the outside things, we become attached to those things. If we find these things make us unhappy, we create an aversion towards them. So raga and dveja, which is aversion, likes and dislikes are impediments on the spiritual path. One we like because it seems to bring us happiness. The other we dislike because it seems to bring unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
Going on. Everyone wants to be happy. Is there anything we can think of that anyone we can think of that doesn't? Even a small worm put in the sun immediately rolls towards the shade. If we put a plant indoors, it will slowly turn its face towards the light because it too wants to be happy. Happiness seems to be the basic need of everything in this world. Yet rarely does anybody find it. Why? Because happiness is like a musk deer. The ancient scriptures have a fable about this animal, which has a scented spot above its forehead that gives off the musk fragrance. The deer runs here and there in search of the scent, not knowing where the scent comes from, its own forehead. And just like that, happiness is already within us. Wherever we go, we reflect our happiness onto people and to things. We see a smiling face and we feel happy. It is because the smiling face reflects our happiness. Just as a pure, clean mirror reflects our face beautifully, certain pure, clean faces reflect our happiness.
Beautiful. That's
Then we say,
what it is.
This person gives me happiness. In other faces, our happiness reflects in a distorted way, and we say, I don't like that person. It's absolute nonsense. No one can ever give us happiness or unhappiness, but can only reflect or distort our own inner happiness.
That's it. It's all up there, right? If the consciousness is in that vibration, how can it ever be different? It can't. You're literally the observer. If the observer is joyous, how can anything be unjoyous in that? How can anything be sad? If the observer is in beauty, everything becomes beautiful. If you have sunglasses that have a red tint, how are you going to see anything else other than that? Just what that is. The beauty of it is, as it goes, you begin to, going back to that idea of the colorlessness, you begin to just see things for what they are, and everything becomes beautiful because there's no attachment to it. You're just in a state of awe. Yeah, everything. Of course, why wouldn't it be? How do you think life talks to us? Which, by the way, is us. Life is you talking to you. How do you think life talks to it? Do you think it sits there and is like, Amir's going to have a bad day today? That'd be like the worst thing possible. It's not like that. It just doesn't work like that. That's awesome. Yeah. Everything that is said is fully in alignment. It's really nice.
And see, I had to be careful on what I did because a lot of the book are like steps. There's like 10, 15 steps to this, and they build upon each other. And that's a whole nother working. And I had to navigate between those things to find ones that kind of stood their ground on their own.
Right.
Because that's a larger undertaking.
Right.
But anyway, again, it's called the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. That's a Swami Satchitananda version. It's like $5 on Amazon. They have the Kindle version as well. You can get the ebook or whatever it's called. It's really wonderful. And honestly, if you really, really desire, here we go back to desire. If you really desire to be liberated, get this book. You know what I mean? If you want a roadmap, this is a roadmap, and it's very, very to the point. It's very to the point, and it has exercises in there that you can do that are really, really beneficial. And it's wonderful. It's really
awesome.
Wonderful.
I love it. I love it.
All right, let's head off.
Beautiful thing.
Let's head on
Good
to
work.
the brew. What's brewing? What's
Lots.
brewing?
I think this week we got a lot brewing, right?
We have some things brewing here.
We got lots of things brewing. Do you you want to start off?
I talked a ton. It's your turn.
I have a couple quick ones. Our president, in a very interesting manner.
Who? Who'd you say?
Who? No, I'm just kidding.
You want to see? Oh, it just hit my leg.
Yeah, saw that.
Your president, maybe, but not mine.
Yeah, the U.S. president. How about we put it that way?
Okay.
The U.S. president
there's a
is
bag.
a 2 for 2. The U.S. president was at a meeting this past week with the Prime Minister of India, and this is like, talk about a like inadvertent slip, like a Freudian slip of consciousness, like of like something coming in. He literally says, quote unquote, just completely unabridged. Like, he just starts talking and this is what he says. Because, look, I am completely apolitical. It does not matter. I just don't. It's irrelevant to me. So don't feel like I'm like picking on Democrats or Republicans at different times. It's irrelevant. Yes. He says, quote unquote, I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things. That quote literally comes out of his mind, well,
Yes.
I inadvertently said that. It comes out of his consciousness and it manifests.
Is this real?
This is literally real.
Was it recorded?
I can try to play it loud enough to
Play it.
maybe the microphone will pick it up.
I wanna hear
so
it.
I'll actually stay quiet. We'll do the audio adjustment for you, but
Let's hear it.
Here it is.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. I was just thinking,
It's incredible, right? Like that should
Bro,
like
oh my god, dude,
that should
this
tell
dude
you
is on another level, bro.
who's running.
Oh my god,
these people are running the country, right? Like, they're not really running the country, but like, could you imagine that? That is something that comes out of his mouth. And the reason I bring this up is because it's clearly something that's happened, right? Like, that is when people have these experiences, when that consciousness is going, at some point it physically comes out of your mouth.
They want to reveal it. They hate hiding it.
And so
what did people say?
nothing. I'm bringing it up as like this.
Where
Like,
is this, on Twitter?
this is on Twitter.
So
Benny
what are the comments
Johnson. I didn't even read.
Bro, go down.
I didn't
and
even read.
some comments. Twitter comments are so much fun. If you're bored on a Friday night, hit the Twitter marketplace and read the comments.
Yeah. There's a meme with a cat filing its nails and saying, "Keep talking."
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's just, it's wild, man. I mean,
If you didn't know, it's all around you. You know, the information, the stuff is all around you.
Yeah, and I'm saying this because I feel like it's just gotten to the point where consciousness is now almost just, it's growing so rapidly that this is just pouring out of people, even if he doesn't want. Yeah. Even if he doesn't want to, but I definitely wanted to share that because that one was great. I mean, I think the audio was loud enough.
I sold a lot of state secrets.
Yeah. Let's play it one more time. How about we do that? Let's play it one more time. And
For those who haven't laughed enough,
yeah,
we have another. Let's rewind it.
anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
it's
I was
crazy.
just thinking,
By the way, like, did you hear what he said? I started without you. That means something is being fed to him. This is my interpretation of which, because it wasn't fed to him, his neural response was just to start what's on his mind. So it's crazy. I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things. We're getting to the level. Everything's gonna be exposed soon. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
All
What you
right.
got? We got a lot of brewing
I don't
this
know.
week. but
Definitely can't beat that. But
Yeah.
let's go on to the next brew. On a less stronger brew. That was
Yeah.
pretty strong. But this
Yeah.
is like that was like a
that was
dark
a joyous
roast.
one. Yeah.
That was a dark roast. This is a medium roast. let's talk about the leading causes of death in the United States. I'm sure everyone's wondering. And number 1, heart disease. Okay.
About what, 600,000, right? From what I remember.
614,000, yeah. Good job. Cancer, 591,000.
Yeah, they're both right about 600. Yep.
Medical error, 291,000. Medical error, the third most leading cause of death in the United States is medical error. Where does COVID land on this list?
Oh, it's number 1.
It doesn't show. I don't see it here.
It's number 1. It kills 1 million people a day.
Well, it doesn't show anything
I'm
here.
joking.
I'm just saying it's not here.
Yeah.
So medical error has killed more people than the CV, which we basically stopped the entire world for. Interesting to know that, but that's not what this is about. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about it. But medical error is the number 3 cause of death in the United States. How do medical errors occur?
It's wild.
The provision of drug therapy by a medical provider to a patient is a complex process. I'm sure it is.
Right.
That was me, not them.
That was not written by a lawyer, by the way. You could tell, right? That was not written by a lawyer.
Errors can occur at any step along the way, from prescribing to the ultimate provision of the drug to the patient. Common causes of medication error include incorrect diagnosis, prescribing errors, dose miscalculations, poor drug distribution practices, drug and drug device related problems, incorrect drug administration, failed communication, and lack of patient education. I'm hearing a lot of drug related stuff. Where do we start with this? Is your antidepressant not working strong enough?
Yeah.
There's another antidepressant you can take after antidepressant.
That'll help boost it. And by the way, a side effect of that is you get so depressed that you'll commit suicide. It's just wild. Like, if you ever actually listen to those advertisements, it's incredible to hear the side effects for the things.
The cost of these misadventures to the U.S. economy is more than $177 billion per year.
And who do you think pays for that?
We do $177 billion per year.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a fantastic clip. I promise you, I will link the clip of this guy who has put in a ton of research on this and speaks so eloquently. It's about a 5 or 10 minute clip.
Dr. Robert thing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But
anyway, go on.
it's just wild that this exists. And by the way, the number 1 cause, heart disease, practically for all intents and purposes shouldn't exist. Like, we know how to solve that.
That's just a whole other topic.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, we can solve that. Here's a really easy way. You want a really easy way, federal government, to do that? Ban corn syrup.
Or seed oils, or like stop poisoning the food we eat. I mean, how we have clean water and air. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's such a basic thing.
Bro, I went to the supermarket today.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare there. Read the ingredients of the things you guys are buying.
Yeah.
Read the ingredients. It's like I went through like 45 cans of beans, and I'm like, nope. Okay, I guess I won't be buying beans.
Yeah, you got to get your own beans and boil.
Yeah, I know.
There's no other.
As soon as there's a shortcut, they screw you.
The best thing to do is to eliminate processed foods. Yeah. The last big hurdle for me, by the way, everyone laughs. They're like, oh my God, you're ridiculous. The last big hurdle for me on processed food is dried fruit. And they're like, well, wait a minute, it's just dried. I'm like, yeah, it's still processed though, right? Like, you look at the word processed means what? It goes through a process. You got to take it on. Everything else is an excuse. I'm sorry. I'm just going to cut to the chase there. It's just an excuse. We just got to do your own thing, man. Just be in charge of it. Be responsible for every aspect of yourself.
Right.
You have the time.
And speaking about responsibility, the next topic is, or the next news piece is, ex-Ohio House Speaker sentenced in one of the largest corruption cases in state history. Okay. In one of the largest corruption cases in Hawaii history, former state House Speaker Larry Householder was sentenced Thursday to a maximum 20 years in prison. Prism of Lira. He's in the prison. Prison.
He is in the prism of Lira in a way, right?
For orchestrating a nearly $60 million illegal bribery scheme. I can't read today. I'm like Anchorman when he's warming up. $60 million illegal bribery scheme that fueled his return to political power. Once one of the most powerful politicians in Ohio, Householder is now a convicted felon, guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and breaking the public's trust. He was taken into court. So what happened is, it goes on to talk about what he did is he got into office in 2018 with, I guess, all the briberies and whatever else he had to do to pass a $1.3 billion bailout for 2 nuclear plants in House Bill 6 and defend the law against the ballot initiative to block it. Ohio definitely could have used $1.3 billion differently.
The numbers get thrown out so much that we forget how ridiculously large those numbers are.
What's the population of Ohio? What if you just take 1.3 billion and divide it by the population? What would that be?
I have no clue. Ohio's got to be around, I don't know, 15 million people or so. So 10 billion would be like $100 a person, something like that.
How does that sound?
That would be my guess.
11 million.
Oh, I was close. 15 million. All right.
So what's 1.3 billion divided by 11?
$100 a person. Right around.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not that much.
Still, I mean, hey, somebody just walked around and gave you $100. By the way, there's billions and billions going around.
Anyway, yeah, he got caught or whatever, probably.
My question is, who'd he piss off?
Yeah, that's the thing is that, he would have been fine.
Yeah. Because they all do that.
It would have been, exactly, it would have been fine, but somebody he probably turned against or whatever came forward. And
remember when, right before the lockdowns, all the senators shorted their stocks, and not a peep about it. Not a peep about that, by the way. These are the people telling you to
they actually put limits on shorting following that on airlines and on different
did they?
Yeah, of course they put the rules in after everybody makes money. All right,
I got one more.
Okay.
This one is cool. This one's really, really interesting. Another one confirmed. The Proud Boys, who are like a very far right group that like go out and they protest and they do this and they do that. They were out doing some protests and flags and all that, and then the Patriot Front, which is supposed to be another one of these things that is supposed to be in alignment with them, comes over there, and they come with like Nazi flags and like are just going at it. They're going crazy, and these guys like don't stand for it. They're like, what the hell are you guys doing here? This is not what we stand for. And they begin to unmask them, and they find that essentially every one of them was a federal officer.
What? No way.
Yeah, just like I don't know how many the number. Again, the reason I'm bringing this up.
Let's just cap that. Let's just re-summarize that.
Yeah.
So in case anyone's just not listening, or just to confirm. So there was a protest by the Proud Boys, and a so-called another organization showed up.
That was supposed to be the Patriot Front.
They're supposed to be the Patriot Front, and they were supposed to join. They joined this protest, but then they started saying Nazis and things that are
right.
really.
They were fully masked up, and they started to like do that. And these guys are like, that's not why we're here. We're just here to like support like America and freedom and whatever. By the way, I'm not saying the Proud Boys are good or bad. It's irrelevant to the story. I don't care.
And they took off their masks, and there were federal officers.
Federal officers.
And the point of the story is that federal officers are impersonating, and of course, they're no problem, right? They're just free to go, and there's no big deal.
If you go and look at the January 6th thing that happened, by the way, so many federal agents, including one. There's this really big guy. I forgot his name. Not the Viking dude, but like a heavy-set big guy. And all he keeps saying on January 6th is, let's go raid the Capitol. Let's go raid the Capitol. Let's do it right now. Let's go raid the Capitol. And you're just standing there like literally gaslighting everybody to go do this. By the way, you should go watch those videos if you haven't seen them. There's literal cops that begin to direct people right into it. They move the fences. They take them in. Most people are just kind of walking through.
It's insane.
The people who are violent, by the way, they're all feds. Every one of them is a fed. They've caught so many feds, FBI agents. Literally, that guy, the guy I'm talking about, is an FBI agent. Nothing happens to him. Like this is the government scheming and plotting and plotting against its own citizens
And
for
look,
what?
And the disclaimer here is that we're not news reporters. We're just doing the best we can to relay the information for you.
We're truth reporters, not news reporters.
You're welcome to go check this out and do the homework for yourself to make sure what Amir or I say is right or resonates with you. You know, I don't know anything about the stuff he's talking about personally. It sounds wild as hell to me, and I would say do your own research and confirm what you need to confirm. This is what the sources he's finding. He's providing you the information as best as he can for you.
Yeah.
And with that disclaimer said,
Disclaimer, yeah. That was the Leonard's attorney side that just came. No, but the whole point
Amir's
of the whole point of what's brewing, honestly, and Leonard and I have said this. The whole point of it is to bring you stuff that you may not be aware of, so that you can start looking into some of these things and to really then let go of the mechanism that is bringing you
that
there.
manipulates you.
Yeah, the reason I was saying to this is, think about it. This is the federal government of coming out and doing this to its own citizens. But what's the point? Look at the underlying point of this. It is for one thing, which leads to almost every topic that we talk about: division.
Yes.
Division.
It's all over the place.
The illusion of division.
It's all over the place. It's in the religion. It's in government.
Everything.
It's in schools. It's in
everything.
You know, go look around. You know,
anything that causes division or fear is from the same source. Period. Period.
Yes.
Period. Hard stop. There's no ifs, ands, or buts justification. It just is. That's all the same.
Yeah.
That was a lot of brew.
We're brewed up.
That was a lot of warm brew, cold brew.
We got nitro brew, nitro brew.
Yeah.
You know,
nitro cold brew.
Shall we now spill the beans? Someone's got to spill the beans.
Let's spill the beans. Yeah.
So I did it. I did the exercise. You know?
Did you?
After Amir slaughtered me last week on his work.
Oh no.
He did it so well that I had such little to bring back to the table that I really said I'm going to do this exercise, and it was a good exercise.
Let's remind him.
Let's remind you the exercise.
So it was
10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups.
Yeah.
I did those.
How you feeling?
Good. Pumped up. Brewed and pumped.
So it was to pick an element that you resonate with, or one that you don't resonate with, just to see how it is.
Yes.
And it's water, air, fire, and earth. And earth usually we relate to trees or grass or leaves or whatever, flowers. And it was that when that element comes up for you, to essentially give yourself a moment, breathe, and kind of let that element reinvigorate you into that state of tranquility.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear.
So at first when he said it, I chose fire.
Okay.
But then immediately after he said, pick something that you may not resonate with. So I said, fine, I'll pick air.
Nice. I love it.
So I picked air, and it so happened that my lovely brother allowed me to drive his convertible for a few days. And when you drive a convertible, you get a whole lot of air in your face. So I had an opportunity to practice this a lot.
Yeah.
And also when I meditate, I could hear the winds rustle the leaves.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's really nice. So I had a lot of wind, not from inside, from outside. But and yeah, I used the exercise. It was great. It's just a reminder, all these things are just like little things we can do to be aware of ourselves. Set the alarm at 12. How are you feeling? Smile in the mirror. It's just another opportunity to like get yourself back on track. When we get too involved in the illusion and the Maya, when we believe the illusion so much, we forget our true essence. And these are all opportunities to go back to that true essence. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was great.
I love it. And look, the point of it is like a grand point in my mind. We haven't talked about this, but one of the best things about Spill the Beans is that every week we're doing something different. And so this, on a conscious and on a subconscious level, begins to build up. So while you might be on the task of picking an element, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you might also start to smile. You might also start to, at some point, go, oh, I wonder what step of Armand, of the 7 steps that we had a couple weeks ago, right? So the point of this is that as you're practicing this, right, it's like going to the gym and you're now working your biceps, your triceps, your glutes, your chest, your back, your quads, and so the more you do everything, the more well-rounded. So everything then becomes a part of that conversation. Awesome. Any specific highlight?
And you get in shape.
Yeah, 100%.
You get in shape, and
truly get in shape.
you know, it was there was a couple of moments like, you know, I had been there and there was like an accident or something, and you know, people were like, you know, it's just LA traffic, man. People get in accidents and they like just stop the car. You know, they don't go to the right even. You know, it's like, bro, we're on the 405. Like, roll over to the right. Your car isn't totaled. Like, it was a small hit. Like, move to the side, let people pass. You know, it's like, and then the wind blows, and you're like, all right, I'm not gonna let.
Got it. Yeah.
Day.
Got it.
You know,
yeah.
that's whatever. You know, that's their life. I'll just, you know, keep moving on.
Keep moving. I like it.
How about you? How'd it go for you?
Good.
Beans, dude.
One of them. One of the highlights for me actually was on Friday.
What'd you choose? What was your element?
Air.
Okay.
Air. Yeah. I actually went with the one that I usually go with, and I'll probably try to change. I do change that up, especially on vacations. I kind of do that with myself. But yeah, on Friday, went for a walk, and the weather's been great in LA for like, I don't know, what, 2 weeks you would say, right? Like we finally have sunshine after 6 months of straight rain. Sun was out, the wind was just we was on a walk with a friend, and it was just like every time it hit, and she started talking about the elements, and I'm like sitting there going, yep, as if I wasn't like reinforced enough. It was like another one of those signs, and it was just so beautiful. And like, you know, at those moments, it's really interesting because I'm actually curious to ask you this question. When I focus on the one that really resonates with me, all of a sudden I feel like they're all there. And what I mean by that is like when this air hit, I remember the sun was like close to setting and it was like hitting me in the eye. So I had the air, I had the fire with that, and we were walking on Maple in the Beverly Hills Flats. You know that street?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
beautiful, right? Maple and Alpine, great. Alpine's my personal favorite. We actually walked on Alpine too, but it was like tree, air, fire, and funny enough, a landscaper was there, and he was spraying water, and he didn't notice because he had like a natural fence, and he was spraying the water out to the sidewalk, and it hit. And I was like, this is perfect. And he came out, he's like, oh my God, it wasn't anything, but right? But it was like, I feel like when you fall in, at least for me, I've experienced that, is like when I fall into the element, all of them all of a sudden show up in a way. Like they're all
your
there.
awareness, you're becoming very present.
Yeah.
So the element paying attention to the element, what it does is it makes you be very present to it, right? Like they used to, with the power of now, it would be like, pick a sound and bring your focus to that sound.
Oh, interesting.
And when you do that, you're becoming very present to everything. So you're like listening to that sound, but anything else that's happening, you're hearing it as well. So you're bringing yourself to a presence of the wind, and then when you're very present to the wind, you're very present to everything around you. So if the sun is on your face, you're present to it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's a really great exercise.
That's awesome.
You know, a very wise person chose that exercise.
The
one you did.
Oh, thank you. Calm ego, let go. It is part of the art.
All right. So today we're going to have a new Spill the Beans task. And in reference to the quote, we had a bunch of quotes today from the Yoga Sutras. And one of them was about the water and the ripples and the calm water and all that kind of stuff. So the task this week is going to be anytime you have to make a decision. And I'm talking about like, do I want to put a full banana or half a banana in my smoothie? I'm talking about like, you know, do I pay more for this marketing budget for this product? Do I go to this party or that party? Do I want to do this now or that now? Something that's a little bit more important to you. or when something arises that works you up even, right? Like, for example, today I double booked myself. I had a meeting at 1:45 and a meeting at 2. And I was like, well, I'll just move one of them, but nobody wanted to move. So on one side, I'm like, hey, can we
Rock in
move
a
this
hard
meeting?
place, yeah.
And it's like, no answer. And
Yeah.
the other one, I'm like, can you move this meeting? It's like, no, we're not available till next Wednesday. So, naturally, I'm getting frustrated. So the exercise is to close your eyes, to imagine you are water, back to the elements, and see that water. Is it calm? So calm that you can see through all the way to the bottom? Or is it choppy, where you can't see through to the bottom and you can't make a clear, seeing through is clear, a clear choice in that moment? And if you can't, imagine you're the water calming until you get to the point where you're completely still.
Nice.
And when you're completely still, you then can have clarity to make the decision to get to what you want at the bottom of that.
I love it. Talk about a synchronicity. You know what I was going to say when you were like, I didn't know what to do at 1:45 and 2? I was literally going to do a Bruce Lee imitation and say, be water, my friend. And you literally, the next line almost that came out of your mouth. By the way, this is on video. You can go back and see my facial reaction. I was like, what? I was about to say that. But I love that. That's beautiful. Calm the ripples. Allow it to sit. And what it does also, I think going back to what you were saying about what you read for us, patience. Give a moment. Just a breath. A breath can change everything, literally. And that breath will also allow that chaos of the seas that we were talking about, just slow down. A really good thing, by the way, really good thing. If you're not a meditator or you think you don't have the time or you don't, just stay away from electronics for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes. No TV, no phone, no laptop, no nothing. Just sit or walk. Just see what that does for you. Electronics, just get away from. Even lights, like literally electronics.
Yeah. Did you see
Awesome.
that I saw this thing where they did a study on 2 plants. They were going to grow these 2 plants from soil, seed to soil and up, and they did one near Wi-Fi and one without Wi-Fi, and it was like night and day. Wow. Like the Wi-Fi one took like 4 times longer to grow. It grew like small, while the non-Wi-Fi one was already like vibrant. And it was like, they showed this experiment to children, like kids that are probably like 10 to like 13, 14 years old. And this kid said, if that's what it does to plants, what does it do to us? And another kid said, well, there's not much information about Wi-Fi for us to know. There's no warnings on the Wi-Fi routers, this, that. I mean, these are kids. I was like, bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. If kids are saying those kind of
100%.
questions.
100%. The new consciousness is up and ready to go at a
really, really
much
cool.
younger age. Much younger age.
Yeah, I keep shungite around the house. I have one on my desk right on the other side of this. It's a black rock.
Did you
It's
say
really
you
good.
keep Shug Knight?
No, shungite. I also wear one here that's really good for EMF.
What is that though? How do you spell it?
Shungite. We can put it in the thing.
Oh, Shungite.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there's another one too. I forgot the name of it now off the top of my head, but it's similar as well, and it helps to block EMF. And I put them all around the house. So I have them in my son's room, in my room, in my office, on my desk, all my desks, like everywhere that there's a router. I have actually the one in the main room. I have it on top of the router thing, like the internet transmitter. I have it like on top. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm
good with it. That goes back down to how much we trust our senses, because if you could see Wi-Fi and microwaves and radio waves, you would live a very different life.
That's true.
Remember, by the way, when the pandemic started and they started to actually they would show how
Perspiration,
saliva comes out of your mouth, and people like freaked out because for the first time they actually saw like how much saliva goes out of your mouth when you talk. Like, oh my God, this is like awful. We gotta like control this. But that's happening on all of these other levels.
Yeah.
Even that's why I'm saying electronics do this. So try to do that within this. But I love this because it's subtle. It's that breath. It's that.
Right. So back to the exercise. Spill the beans. Calm the mind. Pretend you're water, and you are. Once the water is completely still and clear, you now have clarity to make a good decision.
I love it.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We ask that you subscribe, you share, you like. Please make a comment. Please make a comment.
Yeah,
we really
comment.
appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
Even if your comment is like, Leonard, you don't know what you're talking about. Your shirt is 2 colors. Whatever it may be, any comment is fine. We'll be very happy to hear it. Anything, any topics you guys recommend, any questions you have about this or about that, we're happy to entertain them and talk about them. We want to have community connection. So
yes, this is all about community, filling our cups together.
Right.
Yeah.
So make some comments, subscribe, please. All those who have subscribed and are listening, thank you so much. Thank you. You're really dear to us. We really appreciate you. It gives us the energy to keep moving and doing this. Look, we got this, okay? It's our 10th episode. We celebrated with a tea kettle thing. It's good. We're doing good, guys.
We're good. We
Thank
appreciate
you so
you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us. May all be well. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say have a beautiful day, evening, afternoon, night, whenever you're listening to this. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, may all be well. May all have inner peace, inner joy, inner happiness, and inner love. May all receive the love of the Creator in their heart chakra. Om Tat Sat. So it is.
Peace
Bye for
out.
now.
Love
Thank
you.